We're trying something new out. I don't think that this is high enough. Hold on. Oy. Crotch shut. Can I bring you up any further? There we go. Does that work? Alright, I'm trying a new background. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny and I am so freaking hot right now. Oh man, I'm a mess. Trying a new setup. I don't have the right lighting in here, so sue me, I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to get a video out because it's been a minute and this is very unlike me. There's just been a lot going on. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about Methotrexate, which is a medication that I was on for, I can't do math right now. 9 months? 9 months. I think was it only 9 months? Jeez. If you're new to my channel, really quickly, I have lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disease. It's a connective tissue disease. Basically, my body is attacking the connective tissue. And everything in your body is pretty much made out of connective tissue. So anything is up for grabs in terms of my body attacking it. It started out, well, it's 2019 now, so holy crap, I started getting sick 5 years ago, which is crazy. It hit my brain and nervous system first, so my whole personality changed. I became suicidal and paranoid and had all these symptoms on that end, and then I also had a bunch of nervous system symptoms, and eventually couldn't walk very well and had to be in physical therapy. Lots of doctors, lots of testing and medications and all these different things. I've done videos about which, if I can remember, I'll link below. If not, they're on my page. So that's my little summary of it. I started taking Methotrexate April of last year, April of 2018. For those of you who don't know what Methotrexate is, it's called an immunosuppressive drug, and it basically breaks down your immune system. It is a chemotherapy drug. In large doses, it's used to treat breast cancer and some other forms of cancer. I was on a small dose, and small doses have been shown to be really good for rheumatoid arthritis, especially. A lot of people in rheumatoid arthritis, or a lot of people who have rheumatoid arthritis use Methotrexate. It has not been FDA approved for people with lupus. However, there's been a lot of studies have shown that it helps. So a lot of doctors will prescribe it for people with lupus. You can take it in pill form or shot form. I took the shot form because I throw up very easily. What I wanted to do was kind of talk about my experience on it, because everybody's different. I just want to preface that. Everybody's different. My mom took this years ago and she didn't have the same side effects I had. She was on a lower dose than me, but she still didn't have any of the side effects I have. I've known other people on it who didn't have the side effects I had. I'm sure there are people that have had different side effects than I've had, but this is my experience, etc. So when I first started was in April. I started on a very low dose, which was 10 milligrams. And I gave myself a shot once a week. I think at first I had a bad taste in my mouth when I took the shot. I would taste it and it made me nauseated and really tired. But then once my body got used to the 10 milligrams, which I'd say was after maybe 2 or 3 weeks of it, I didn't ever really feel anything when I took it. I immediately started feeling better. So my doctor told me it would take a month to start helping with my lupus symptoms and about 6 months to start helping with my Sjogren's syndrome symptoms. And I'd say that was about accurate. I don't know. In the Sjogren's department, I have symptoms still, and so I'm not really sure. I don't know. I think ultimately, yes, it's helping there, but there are some areas of it that still could use help. I mean, that wasn't my primary reason for taking it, so it did help a little bit. I was on the 10 milligrams for a couple of months, and then over the summer, I was headed out of town and I all of a sudden had one of the worst, or the worst, arthritic flare of my life. I've never experienced arthritis like that. It was either one of two things. It was either a really bad lupus flare, or I'm getting secondary rheumatoid arthritis. They weren't sure. They said that if I experienced what I experienced then again, then they would diagnose me with secondary rheumatoid. But until then, they weren't sure. Hopefully I will never have to experience that again. But because they didn't want this to happen again, they doubled my dose. So I went from 10 milligrams to 20. And that right there was like a huge difference for me. I had a hard time on the 20 milligrams up until a couple weeks ago when I went off of it. So I started taking the 20 milligrams this summer. The very first dose, I remember feeling just so sick. I think the first couple of weeks, I like projectile vomited. It was so bad. Even my doctor prescribed Zofran for my stomach. That didn't really make a difference. I just felt so nauseated all the time. My hair started falling out. That was the thing that a lot of people I've talked to who have been on it did not experience hair loss. When I talked to my doctor about it, they said that, I mean, they weren't surprised at all. They said with my dose level that I'm on, that makes sense. That's why I'm wearing a hat. I've lost now, I'd say, about a little, like over half the hair that was on my head. It looks like I have hair here, but if I were to take my hat off, it is balding all back here. I tried to get halo extensions to see what it would look like, to see if it would work with my hair, and it doesn't. This is not enough to cover, there's not enough to go on top of the halo extensions, but I tried. But basically every week when I would take it, I started taking it at the beginning of the week, and then I realized that I would have residual effects a couple of days later. So then I started taking it on Fridays because I didn't work Fridays. So I would take my shot, and then I use medical marijuana to help me. So I figured out if I were to smoke before I take it, then take my shot, then smoke after, it really cut down on my nausea. So that's what I did. Luckily, I live in California, so I can get medical marijuana very easily. It's saved me in so many different ways. The shot itself, I did the automatic injector, zero pain, no issues with it at all. You can't even feel it going in you. But the nausea and the hair loss never stopped. And for me, with any kind of medication, there's gonna be side effects. And what my doctors basically told me is you're gonna find what medication works for you, but also which side effects you can live with. And for the longest time, I was like, okay, well, if my hair's falling out and I'm nauseated, and that's the only thing I'm experiencing, well, that's so much better than not being able to walk, and so much better than not being able to like have my life. So I'll get a wig and YOLO and it'll be fine. And honestly, it was fine for a while until the hardest thing for me was the hair loss. And it got to the point where just psychologically was just not, I couldn't handle it anymore. That coincided with me experiencing something a couple weeks ago from the Methotrexate, which made me not want to take it again. There's a thing called medication toxicity, and it's basically, I guess, if there's too much of the medication in your body freaks out, I guess. And okay, so with Methotrexate, and for cancer levels, the way it works is it removes folic acid from your body. Because I don't have cancer, I need the folic acid, so I would take folic acid supplements, and that would prevent mouth ulcers, and some of the other side effects from not having folic acid. And it did pretty well. Once I doubled my dose, and I ended up doubling my folic acid, so I wouldn't have mouth ulcers. I would get them occasionally, but it wasn't like a huge deal. Well, about 2 weeks ago, my whole mouth and throat was inflamed, swollen. There were ulcers everywhere in my mouth. I mean, I haven't been in that much pain. I can't explain to you how much pain it was. I couldn't swallow, couldn't talk. It hurt to move my mouth. It hurt to do, it was just awful. I ended up getting canker, that like stuff you put on canker sores. I actually have it. I ended up getting this over the counter, and I would like rub it all inside my mouth to numb it. And it hurts, but like once it stings, it stops. And then my doctor ended up calling in like a steroid cream to rub inside, and he told me to stay off my Methotrexate for several weeks, and then I could get back on. First of all, he wasn't worried about it. My doctor is one of the top lupus doctors in the country. If he's not worried about something, I'm not worried about it. But I don't want to ever experience that again. And with all of my other side effects, with the hair loss and the nausea is going to come with anything, but the hair loss especially, I was like, I want to try something else. And the other thing is with methotrexate, you can't get pregnant. You just have to be very, very careful. And in the next couple of years, I want to either freeze my eggs or have a baby on my own. And I don't feel comfortable doing that, having methotrexate in my system for that long. I don't know how long I'd have to be off of it in order to freeze my eggs and all of that. So I feel like it would have been one of those things where I would have had to get off it and then do all that and then get back on it. So bottom line is, we know it works. If the medicine I'm switching to doesn't work, I always have this. I hope I don't have to go back to it. I've tried dating this year for like the first time in a really long time. It was something hard for me because it's hard for me to put myself out there knowing my condition, because I feel like if anyone thinks I'm sick, they're gonna think I'm not worth my time, or they won't understand, things like that. And there were a couple of people that I went out with and I'm like, okay, this isn't a good match, but it was like enjoyable, we had fun. I could tell though that it was always like when my health stuff came up, that was kind of when the light went out, which is, it's fine. There was no chemistry between the majority of them. There was one person that I did have a lot of chemistry with, and that I think was the kind of like final turning point for me, because my wig fell off in front of him on our date, and I tried to laugh it off. I tried to be cool with it, but it really, really bothered me. And I haven't heard from him since. And it was one of those things where I felt like had that not happened, I would have heard from him again. But that was kind of, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm done not having my hair. I'm tired of wearing hats at the time. I'm tired of wearing a wig that I feel like doesn't represent me well. And I don't want that to ever happen again. Like, I never want a wig to fall off on a date ever again. And I'm still mad at myself for wearing it, but I'm like, I was so over wearing hats that day. And I was just like, oh, you know what? He doesn't know me. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know my real hair. So maybe he won't know it's a wig. Whatever. That's not the point of this video. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video because I know that a lot of people, before they take a medication, they Google it, they go to the message boards, and a lot of people won't write the good stuff. They'll only write the scary, awful things. Like, it made me have 3 legs and my skin's green now and it'll never grow back and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't experience any of that. I just experienced hair loss. Hair grows back. I'm very, very excited over the next, I don't know how many months it's gonna take to get my hair back. I'm very excited to eventually have hair again. Like, I think it's one of those things where you don't realize how blessed you are until you lose something. And I had great hair until I lost it, and I never want to take it for granted again. But I talked to my doctor. I'm no longer going to be taking methotrexate. I will be taking a different drug called Benlysta, which is the only FDA-approved drug for lupus. We put it off for a while just because it's so expensive, but I'm gonna try to get a grant from the company who makes it so that I won't have to be paying the crazy amounts. And with it, I would only have to give myself a shot every 2 weeks. And apparently, from what I understand, the side effects, nausea is one, but with the other side effects, hair loss is not one. And from what I understand, people have an easier time on this than they do on other stuff. So knock on wood, fingers crossed that it helps. Fingers crossed that it doesn't make my arthritis come back. If it does, I just have a feeling I'll be put on something for it in addition to it, because I really don't want to have to be put on anything else right now for lupus. And yeah, I feel like this video was kind of all over the place. That's my experience with methotrexate. And if you have any questions, link them below. It's a very low-key video. What do you guys think of my new bedding? My old bedding did not spark joy, and now I'm really trying to make my place spark joy. So I might film more videos here. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I've got to go back to work now. My lunch break's over. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about methotrexate, please leave them below. If you want to watch any of my videos on mental health stuff, chronic illness stuff, or my experience with lupus, they're on my channel. And if you want to watch all my other stupid stuff, it's on my channel too. I guess I'll see you whenever I decide to film a new video. Until then, have the best day of your freaking life. Thank you. Bye-bye.